I, Douglas Ducote, an American patriot by the grace of God, do solemnly swear to support and defend the Constitution of the United States of America from enemies foreign and especially domestic. I, Douglas Ducote, an American patriot by the grace of God, do solemnly swear to support and defend the Constitution of the United States of America from enemies foreign and especially domestic.
Say it with me. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Hello, American patriots. Are you a supporter of the Second Amendment? Are you a responsible gun owner? If so, then you know the day will come that you're going to need a trusted and qualified gunsmith. When that day arrives, I want you to contact the man that I trust with my weapons, Mr. Delaney Jackson, owner of Jumpin, Gunsmith, and Appraisal. Besides being a professional gunsmith, Delaney is a true American patriot. And, a little trivia for you, he's also the manager and guitar player for country music legend Mr. Mark Chestnut. So when the time arrives, take your weapons to the man who treats my weapons like they're his own, my trusted friend, Mr. Delaney Jackson at Jumpin, Gunsmith, and Appraisal. Contact information and website information is in the description of this video below. Thank you and God bless.
I, Douglas Ducote, an American patriot by the grace of God, do solemnly swear to support and defend the Constitution of the United States of America from enemies foreign and especially domestic. I, Douglas Ducote, an American patriot by the grace of God, do solemnly swear to support and defend the Constitution of the United States of America from enemies foreign and especially domestic.
Say it with me. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Hello, American patriots, and welcome to another episode of the Douglas Ducote Show. You had many places you could be tonight, chose to be here with me, and for that, I am forever grateful. There are literally hundreds of stories that we could be reporting on tonight. This show could go on for hours and hours about all of the crazy things that are taking place right here in America, right under our nose, and across the globe for that matter. So many things that there's just not enough time to cover them all. But to me, right now, currently, the most important thing to discuss is gun control. That's right. We're back at it once again. And during my last show, I told you what was going to happen. Before the ink was dry on my show, the liberals and Democrats would be calling for taking away your rights, taking away your AR-15s, taking away those scary black weapons, your AK-47s, high-capacity magazines, all these things that would do absolutely nothing to stop evil people from doing evil things. And we're going to get into that. So tonight, this show is going to be dedicated to what's currently happening up in Washington, D.C. between these rhinos and the Republican Party and these hijacked far-left liberal Democrats that have absolutely no common sense whatsoever. And it's about time for Republicans to throw this political correct bullshit coming out of your mouth out the window and stand the hell up instead of allowing these Democrats to spew bullshit that's not true. And we're going to break all that down here in tonight's show. Before we get into that, let's talk about what just took place as within the last hour, and that is that senile son of a bitch running this country going to the microphone up in the White House and just talking crap about what he's going to do or what he thinks we should do or what he thinks we can or cannot do about your gun rights. So I wrote down a few things I wanted to go over about his speech directly, and that's what we will start with. President Joe Biden called for a ban on assault weapons and high-capacity magazines tonight as he talked to the nation. Also, he said we should raise the limit to buy a gun from 18 to 21 and other measures to curb gun violence in the United States in an address tonight. He said, if we can ban assault weapons, then we should raise the age to purchase them from 18 to 21, Biden said. Okay, so let's stop right there. So what you want me to believe is that at 18 years old, you can raise your hand and take an oath to the Constitution and swear in to the United States military. Go to war, die for your country, but you can't own your own personal weapon to protect your family. Does that make any sense at all? None. Zero. Because it's not about making sense. It's about spewing lies. How is it possible that anyone would think it's okay to raise from 18 to 21, yet you can be a police officer at 18, but you're not allowed to have a gun when you're not at work to protect yourself or your family? Come on. That's common sense. But that's not what the Democrats want you to believe right now, is it? Moving right along with this wonderful speech of his. He also called for stronger background checks. All right, so let's stop right there. The background checks can't get any stronger than they already are, Joe. But what could happen and what you could do, and members of Congress, is you could see to it that the states, the individual states, report all the things that are going wrong in mental health with their residents to the federal government, so that when a background check is done, the red flag pops up on whoever that shouldn't have a gun and be able to buy one. But we're not doing that, are we? No. There are many states out there that aren't reporting this stuff, or not reporting it at all, or not reporting it accurately. And that needs to change. When a background check is done, and I'm all for background checks. I don't know anyone that's not for background checks. But when that background check is done, if the states had done what they should have done, many of these mass shootings, as far as weapons that were purchased legally from a gun store, wouldn't have happened. But, which we will get into here in a minute, that's not where these guns are coming from. And the Democrats know that, but they want you to be stupid. They want you to believe what they're saying, and it's all lies. He also wants the red flag laws, which means that Okay, let's just take me, for instance. My neighbor finds out that I have guns. And he also finds out that, I don't know, I have PTSD. Therefore, he believes or she believes that I'm unstable because they don't know enough about post-traumatic stress disorder and combat vets. And they report that to law enforcement, and then law enforcement has to come out based off of just what the neighbor said and take my weapons away until I can prove that I'm sane. That's how crazy red flag laws are. All right. If you're going to have red flag laws, then you need to fine tune it to where you can't have people pissed off at each other and calling in fake bullshit. And that's the problem with the red flag laws, is too many people are abusing that system. Now, I'm all for if you know that your neighbor is 5150, is a complete and utter nut job, beats his dogs, beats his wife, sends his kid to school barefoot, all right, whatever. If you know there's a problem there, and they're always out there yelling and screaming and hollering at their family members and threatening them and shit like that, hell yeah. That's what the shit was designed for. But that's not how it's being used. He goes on to say, there are too many schools, too many other day places that have become killing fields, battlefields here in America, Biden said. The issue we face is one of common sense. I want to be very clear, this isn't about taking away anyone's guns. It's not about vilifying gun owners. Yes, it is. You senile son of a bitch. Yes, it is. Because that's the only people you're hurting with these laws. That's it. The law-abiding citizen is who you're hurting. And we will go into those facts and those numbers here shortly to prove that point. The president cited a recent report from the CDC. We all know how reliable they are, aren't we? Don't we? We just watched over the past 2 years with this COVID and all the crap that came out of the CDC. They put out a recent report that guns were the leading cause of death amongst children. He goes on to say, over the past 2 decades, more school-aged children have died from guns than off-duty police officers and active-duty military combined, Biden said. That's a freaking lie. That's not true. He described the impact of the AR-15 rifle on the children in the Texas school shooting. The damage was so devastating in Texas that parents had to do DNA swabs to identify the remains of their children, 9 and 10-year-olds, he said. Again, Joe Biden lied. That's not true. It's not true. These children weren't blown up by a fucking bomb that threw their body pieces all over the fucking place, you idiot. This time, it's time for the Senate to do something, Biden said, adding that 10 Republican senators need to be on board with any effort. The fact that a majority of Senate Republicans don't want any of these proposals even to be debated or come up for a vote, I find inconceivable. We can't fail the American people again. And he did some other shit where he did this whole thing about, listen to me closely. And, and we can't allow this. I mean, just like, what the fuck? Are you an actor? Or did you get that? Where did you get? What are you doing, Joe? What are you doing? Look, if you've got some kind of common sense thing, if there's something you can show me or law-abiding citizens that we could have done different as Americans to protect children from the mass shootings that have taken place? Fuck, I'm all open ears. Let's talk about it. But the point is, you can't. Because the laws that you want to pass do nothing except pander to your base in the far left liberals by saying, oh, we're going to get rid of ghost guns. Okay, look, I'm all for that. There shouldn't be a gun out on the streets in America that doesn't have a damn serial number where you can trace it. That's my personal belief. All right, but are getting rid of ghost guns going to stop mass shootings? Fuck no. Why is that? Because they're not being used in mass shootings. Not a single ghost gun has showed up in a mass shooting. Ghost guns are showing up in the streets of Chicago where they're just shooting each other in the fucking head every night. But it isn't happening in mass shootings. So getting rid of ghost guns, although I'm all for it, isn't going to fix what took place in Texas. Banning the AR-15. Why don't you ask, how did this kid, 18 years old, from a broken family, how did he get the money to purchase these weapons and the ammo and the body armor and all the shit he had? How did that come to be? I mean, the way I saw it, from the videos I've seen, the pictures I've seen of his family, they didn't have shit. But yet, he's able to do this. And had all the red flags been connected, he'd have never been able to buy a gun legally. But guess what? If he wanted a gun, you can go on any street corner in America, damn near, and buy your ass a gun, especially if you have cash. So, banning the AR-15, once again, isn't going to fix the problem, which we will prove that as well. The AR-15 isn't what the issue is. So now let's talk about what Joe Biden had to say just a few days ago. Recounting a visit to a New York trauma hospital, Joe Biden said doctors showed him x-rays of gunshot wounds. They said a .22 caliber bullet will lodge in the lung and we can probably get it out. May be able to even save the life. But a 9mm bullet blows the lung out of the body, Biden said. So the idea of these high caliber weapons is there's simply no rational basis for it in terms of self-protection, hunting, Biden said. Remember, the Constitution was never absolute. And he also repeated that tonight. So there are two things every American should pay close attention to what Biden said. First is looking for ways to not only take away your AR-15s and your AK-47s, but also a ban on 9mm handguns. And the second thing is that the leader of the free world, the President of the United States of America, believes that the Constitution is not absolute. That in itself should bar him from ever being in office. Our founding fathers wrote these documents for us to adapt to, for us to work into our system, into the grain of our society. Everything about these documents and the amendments is in stone. What part of shall not be infringed don't you get, Joe Biden? It's not absolute, is what you said. The Second Amendment, a well-regulated militia being necessary for the security of a free state, and the right of the people to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed. Does that say anything about it could be absolute? Does it have to be absolute? No, seems pretty fucking absolute to me. Shall not be infringed. So, do we have a problem right now with a bunch of snot-nosed little fucking kids running around doing stupid shit? Yeah, That problem's been going on for eons, way before anyone listening to this program right now was even alive. It's just with social media, we get it handed to us immediately when it's happening. Somebody can go do something stupid somewhere, anywhere. And there's so many cell phones out there, there's so many cameras out there that shit goes global instantly. But it's not really changed much. Now, I want to share with you all something that I recently read, and I posted it as well in my some of my social media accounts. And it's a very good read, and it is common sense. Although the Democrats and liberals won't see it as common sense because they can't fucking think that far outside of their little box that they're in their head. It's a piece that was written by Wayne Root. He's the assistant editor at the Gateway Pundit. And this is just spot on. It says the 14 lessons every conservative patriot learned from the tragic Texas shooting. Hint, Democrats will be shocked and horrified, but I could give two shits. I added that little piece in there, by the way, just so you know. He didn't. I did. Number one, guns aren't the problem. Gun-free zones are the problem. They are the killing fields. They are an open invitation for mentally deranged criminals and criminally insane madmen to walk in and start shooting. Gun-free zone signs are like a blinking neon sign in Vegas screaming, "Come in and kill us." We are helpless, we are defenseless, and we are weak. How many people walked into an NRA rally and shot the place up? Or a gun store and shot the place up? Bass Pro Shop, for instance. Any place that sells guns. Where do these mass shootings take place? They take place in places like nightclubs in Orlando, where you can't bring a firearm inside. Or they take place in places like schools, where you can't bring a firearm inside. They're gun-free zones. Now, tonight, somebody mentioned to me that they weren't gun-free zones because there were police officers there that were resource officers. They had guns. That ain't got shit to do with it. Of course the cops can have guns. Yes, the cops can have guns in a school, in a bank, where you can't. In a courthouse, where you can't. In your lawyer's office, where you can't. In any government building, city, federal, state, but you can't. In any school, in any campus, but you can't. Yes, police officers have that right to not disarm themselves before they go into these places that are gun-free zones. Number two, guns didn't cause this tragedy, but a good guy with a gun sure as hell ended it. An armed border agent killed the bad guy, thereby saving lives. That should have been the headline. Number three, we need more good guys and gals with guns to stop bad guys. Every school needs armed security. There should be only a single point of entry to every school, and a guard must always protect that entrance. All other doors of the school should be locked and secured at all times. That is common damn sense, Democrats and liberals. Number four, backing up the armed security at every school should be teachers and or administrators with guns and with professional gun training. Now, Here's one of the problems we have in America, especially as you go out west, is these teachers are afraid of guns, and most of them are liberals trying to indoctrinate your kids into believing a bunch of bullshit that's not true. Okay, so they're not going to have a gun. Oh no, fuck no. They would rather just stand there and go, please don't shoot me, than have a gun to be able to stop the son of a bitch that wants to kill them. That's how stupid this is. But guess what? There are many, many teachers out there that would be very happy and would step forward and probably even pay for their own training to get trained in how to use a weapon safely. And then they can be right there because they're on the front line. They're in the room with the kids. Then they can learn how not to have an accidental discharge. They can learn how not to have their weapon stolen by a kid, how to protect their weapon. And then they can learn how to use that weapon to protect their children in that school and themselves. And there are some schools, thank God, here in the South that are doing just that. And it's working fine. Number 4. Oh, I'm sorry, that was number 4. Number 5. How can we afford all this? I've argued from day one it was a disastrous decision and tragic mistake to give another $40 billion to Ukraine. We need to worry about America. We could have used that $40 billion here at home. Half of it, $20 billion, should have been used to pay for armed security at every school in America. Number 6, if we really wanted to protect children, secure the damn border. The other half of the Ukrainian funding, $20 million more, should have been used to build and secure the wall on our southern border. And let me just stop right there and talk about the wall for a second. Here's another conversation I had today with somebody that it baffles my mind, the questions that I get, not questions I get asked, but the things that people bring to me that are so fucking stupid that they're not even thinking anything through. None at all. They're just blowing shit out the side of their ass. We know, Republicans and conservatives know, and so does the Border Patrol, and so does everybody in law enforcement, and so does anybody with common sense. We know that a wall on our southern border is not going to stop everybody from coming in. It's just a deterrent, my friends. We know that. We get that. If somebody wants to get in bad enough, they're going to dig under the son of a bitch. They're going to use a ladder and climb over it, whatever. Okay? But it will slow them down. It will give Border Patrol a chance to get to that area if there's cameras on it or sensors. And those things are technology that we can use and are using in some locations. You know, if you want to have that argument that they can come around the wall, they can go over the wall, they can come under the wall, it's not going to stop them, then stop locking your fucking door at night when you go to sleep, dumbass. That's right. Oh, while you're at it, don't lock the door to your car. Why are you locking up shit? Guess what? If somebody wants to break into your house, I don't give a damn how many locks you got. The average house door you can walk up to and kick it open. Same thing with a fucking car or a truck. Take a damn brick right through the window. Boom, you're in. But with it being locked, they have to make noise, have to cause a commotion, and any criminal with a little bit of common sense is going to move on to the next fucking house because they don't want to get caught. Same thing with the border wall. It's a deterrent. It's something to slow their ass down or make them think twice about what the fuck they're doing. But it's not going to stop everybody. We know that. That's common sense. So anybody that wants to use that ideology that we don't need to put a border wall up because it can't stop them, stop locking your shit up at night. Don't lock your door tonight. Unlock your windows. It fucking amazes me. Where was I? The other half of the Ukrainian funding, 20 million or 20 billion, should have been used to build and secure the wall on the southern border. If we're angry and shocked as a nation about 19 innocent young children dying in that school shooting, shouldn't we be more concerned with the tens of thousands of American kids dying each year from drug overdoses brought with drugs across that fucking southern border? Do you care about those kids? Democrats and liberals? Thousands are being killed with drugs and the sex trafficking and the weapons coming across. And then going both ways, as a matter of fact. No, they don't give a shit about that. They cared about the children. They cared about Americans. They would secure that damn border. We would send billions of dollars down there to protect that border. That would save lives. But we don't do that. Democrats want to talk about saving the kids, Fucking do away with abortion. I think that saves kids. No, you don't want to do that though, do you? No. So do kids' lives matter or not? Make up your mind, Democrats. Everything that comes over that border is a threat to Americans' children. Drugs, human trafficking, sex trafficking of children and women, tons of violent criminals, gangbangers, and MS-13 murderers. And we ain't doing shit about it. Oh, but we want to take away your guns. Number 7, gun control is never the answer. Gun control is a massive failure. There are more shootings, violent crimes, and murders in Democrat-run big cities with strict gun control than anywhere else in this country. If strict gun control works, why are the streets of Democrat cities like Chicago, Detroit, Baltimore, New York, Los Angeles, Baton Rouge, New Orleans such killing fields? The answer is simple. Strict gun control never stops criminals because they don't care about your laws. That's what makes them a criminal. Oh, what a fucking unbelievable idea. A criminal doesn't care. It just leaves the good people, law-abiding citizens, defenseless. Number 8, new gun laws will do nothing to stop crime or mass murderers. Why don't we enforce laws already on the books against violent criminals? Crimes are almost always committed by repeated offenders that Democrat district attorneys allowed back on the streets. And how many times have I reported on just that shit right there? These liberal fucking judges and DAs letting these criminals back out, and then they repeat and do shit again and hurt and kill people. Number 9, instead of useless new laws, why don't we make mass murder, the killing of 2 or more, a death penalty crime? Fucking makes sense to me. You go out with a gun and you just start shooting up a school or a church or wherever. Kill yourself. If not, we're going to kill you because it'll be a criminal offense, the death penalty. If convicted of mass murder, there are no appeals. None. Do away with it. The convicted mass killer is executed the next day. And use a firing squad. End of story. That's the way to deter mass shootings. Number 10, investigate big pharma. And this is something I haven't talked too much about, but I agree. Investigate Big Pharma for the drugs they pump into young males for depression and anger issues, ADD, and mental illnesses. Virtually every mass killer in recent memory was on these drugs. Side effects of these drugs are suicidal and violent thoughts. Why are we drugging so many teenagers? Number 11. I love this one. Never, ever mention defund the police again. Incidents like this prove we need more police, not less. Number 12. As much as I love and appreciate police, boy, did they fail miserably this time. Yes, they did. There are many questions about how the police responded to the school shooting in Texas. How could they stand around for an hour while kids are being slaughtered? Police announced they waited so long because they were afraid to get shot. Really? If police are afraid to get shot, they should be instantly terminated. That's their job, to risk their lives to protect citizens. And while they refused to enter the school to confront the shooter, they handcuffed, tasered, and pepper sprayed parents who begged to let them go in. And every one of them officers that were involved in that shit should be terminated. So please, no more defund the police. But let's rethink how we're hiring and training police. We need heroic macho warriors. Stop trying to make them into political correct pansies, poets, and social workers, liberals. 13. This mass shooting and the poor police response only makes American patriots even more certain it's up to us to defend ourselves and save our families. We love the police, but we can never count on them. If it is to be, it's up to me. I bet more guns will be brought into this country coming in the next few months by Americans than ever before in history purchased. And that's true, because every time Democrats start talking about gun control, people go out and start buying a shitload of guns. 14, and this is the end of it. One final point. Actually, it's a pledge. Stop trying to take our guns. This isn't Australia or New Zealand. This is America. You're never taking our guns. As in never, 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 ever. You only take our guns from our cold, dead hands. So drop your demands. You're wasting your time. You may not know it yet, but you've already lost the battle. I repeat, we're never giving up our guns as Americans. So those are the 14 common sense lessons millions of conservative patriots learned from this tragic mass shooting. I know Democrats will be shocked and horrified, but what we believe, that's why it may be time for a divorce. This marriage between Republicans and Democrats just isn't working, is it? So that, my friends, was written in the Gateway Pundit by Mr. Wayne Root, assistant editor at the Gateway Pundit. And I thought it was a very, very good read, and I wanted to share it with you all because it's just common sense. Now, let's look at statistics. Democrats and liberals, Democrat members of Congress, and Republican members of Congress, please pay close attention to what I'm about to read to you. And this says it all. These are just statistics that I found and were able to pull off the internet tonight, and so can you, from the Department of Justice website and the FBI's website. As of January 7th of this year, 2022, 44% of Americans own firearms. This means 81.4 million people. The average gun owner in America has not one but 5 firearms. There's an estimated 400 million guns in the United States of America. 400 million. There's approximately 40 million guns purchased legally by Americans each year. So, those of you that follow me, you know that I've said this many, many times. If you could wave a magic wand tonight and make guns illegal, period. No longer can buy a gun legally. We're done. That's it. It's over with guns. There's 400 million of them out there. You're always going to be able to get one. Always. To the end of time on Earth. And I'm not talking about your time on Earth. I'm talking about this planet we live on. It will go away before the guns will. Highest gun ownership in America is in Montana, Wyoming, Alaska, and Idaho. And what does Montana, Wyoming, Alaska, and Idaho have in common? That's where the most guns are. How about the least amount of crime? Interesting thought, isn't it? How many mass shootings have you heard about in Alaska or Idaho, Wyoming, Montana? Lowest gun ownership in America is in Massachusetts, New Jersey, Rhode Island, and Hawaii. How many gun-related crimes are taking place in New Jersey, Massachusetts, Rhode Island, and even Hawaii? Per the Department of Justice, 57% of felons say they are more afraid of an armed citizen than they are a cop. Guns used in self-defense, 25.3 million Americans, 31% of gun owners, have used a gun in self-defense. In nearly 82% of these cases, the gun, they never had to even fire. Just pull it out, and the shit was over with. According to the National Research Council study done during Obama's presidency, guns were used for self-defense approximately 1,369 to 8,219 times every year. Let me back up. I got that really wrong. Sorry. Guns used for self-defense were between 1,369 to 8,219 times every day. That's 500,000 to 3 million times every year. We never hear about those, do we? The amount of people that are alive today because of a good person with a gun makes those that were killed in mass shootings look like a fucking feather drop. But we don't talk about that, do we? Politicians will often talk about the gun show loophole and make it seem as if that was a primary source of guns being used to carry out crimes in America today. However, if you look at the Department of Justice survey of prison inmates who've used guns to carry out their crimes, found that only 0.8% of criminals purchase their guns at a gun show. Similar study carried out in Pittsburgh found that nearly 80% of criminals caught with a firearm were not the legal owner of that gun. They either stole it from someone, they broke into a gun shop and stole it from a friend, borrowed it from a friend, or just walked down to 5th and Main, pulled out a $100 bill, and they had 20 people walk up and say, "Which gun would you like?" Guns versus homicide. While the number of guns manufactured in the United States every year has increased dramatically, the homicide rate has continued to fall at the same time. Concealed carry, an analyst of the FBI crime statistics, found that U.S. counties that adopted concealed carry laws saw a reduction of murders by 8.5%, rapes by 5%, assaults by 7%, and robberies by 3%. 94% of mass shootings occurred in a gun-free zone. Whenever people start trying to ban guns, assault rifles such as the AR-15 are usually where they start. However, the number of homicides committed with rifles in the U.S. is very low. There are approximately 20 million rifles in circulation in the U.S. today. Yet, they only account for an average of 364 murders per year. This equals a rate of 1 murder per 55,000 rifles owned. Things that kill people more than rifles. Here's a list of 5 things politicians could ban that would actually save more lives than an assault weapons ban. Are you ready for this? You are nearly twice as likely to be murdered by being punched or kicked than you are from being shot by a rifle. Fist, hands, and feet. 600 murders. Knives, 1,476 murders. Clubs, hammers, and bats, 397 murders. Falling from stairs, 1,307 accidental deaths. Falling out of bed, 650 accidental deaths. So, we're going to ban stairs. We need to ban beds. You don't need to be in a bed, sleep on a fucking floor. We need to ban fist, hands, and feet. I don't know how we're going to do that, but think about it. We need to ban knives. We need to ban clubs, hammers, get rid of them. Baseball bats, nope, can't have that. 397 people were murdered with baseball bats. And how many people have been killed in mass shootings recently? Don't think it adds up to those numbers, does it? Do we talk about it? No. Why aren't you talking about it, Republicans? You had the opportunity today. I sat there like many Americans and watched your ass on C-SPAN. Some of y'all had some good points. Some of you shouldn't even be in Congress because you don't have the balls and the backbone to stand up to these Democrats that are talking shit. Total lies. Call it out, damn it. We're sick of this. We sent you to Washington, D.C. to work for we the people. See it? We the people. We sent you there. You work for us, you son of a bitches. Not yourself, not your special interest. Fuck that. Police versus armed citizens. Law enforcement can be invaluable if you're in a life-threatening situation, but they're not always around. And AOC wants to ban the police. Citizens have recently surpassed police in the number of justifiable killings of a criminal to protect their life or the life of another person. Now, I'm going to repeat that just in case you missed it, Democrats and liberals. Citizens have killed more people in self-defense than cops have killed people. When the average school shooting lasts just 12 minutes, every second of response time saves lives. How do police compare with armed citizens in this aspect? Law enforcement response time average across America is 18 minutes. And that's a size of 813,500 police officers in America. 18 minutes. Armed citizen, you're already on site. 81.4 million armed citizens. So it's about common sense, Democrats. Look, let me show you all something real quick here. First, let's drop the clip. Let's clear the chamber. All right. This weapon is unloaded. My glasses are unloaded. Bear with me a second. Put that bullet back in the clip. Back into my weapon. It's locked and loaded. You know what it's capable of doing? The same damn thing these glasses are. Not a fucking thing. Nothing. Nothing. Now, if I put these glasses on, how did I just lose my, oh, there it is. Sorry about that. If I put these glasses on, they can do something. I can see at a distance. I can see to shoot my weapon at a distance. This is doing nothing until I pull that thing called a trigger. When I do that, then the bullet goes out of it. Isn't that neat? Wow. It's a fucking great concept, isn't it? This is totally useless. It doesn't do anything by itself. In the hands of a trained, qualified, law-abiding citizen, it's saving more lives than those that are being killed in the tune of hundreds of thousands. But then, little bad boy comes along, whoever he is or she, that's mentally deranged, whose parents didn't beat their ass like they should have when they did fucked up shit. And because we did away with that. We can't spank our kids anymore because, that's child abuse. Then they get put on all kinds of Ritalin and all kinds of other shit. And families are separated and divorced and single parents raising the kids. And in some cases that works out great. And the kids grow up to be wonderful, productive members of society. But the chances are slimmer that that's going to be the case. And that's happening everywhere. I was 11 years old. 11. The day my dad purchased me my first gun. It was a .410 shotgun. And before he did that, my dad taught me how to shoot weapons, how to be safe with weapons. He taught me about hunting with weapons. He taught me about self-defense with weapons. He taught me how to appreciate the power that was in my hands when I held that weapon. And then at 11 years old, he bought me my first .410 shotgun. And guess what? At 11 years old, I could go out in the woods hunting by myself. by myself. When I was 13, I'm sorry, 15 when I got my driver's license. Here in Louisiana back then it was 15. We had gun racks in our trucks. Right here over the back. Gun racks. We go to school with our rifles in our trucks, parked in the parking lot of the school. Because we taught our kids gun safety. And then we taught our kids to be held accountable for their actions by whipping their little ass when they fucked up, by taking away their shit, grounding them, whatever the case may be. That doesn't happen in today's society. That's not what's happening to these kids that are doing these mass shootings. Most of them come from broken families and they have serious mental issues. Anyone who thinks it's okay to take a weapon and go into a school and start killing kids is mentally fucking deranged. Or in a nightclub, or anywhere, a grocery store. Anyone that picks up a gun and takes it into another location to kill innocent people is mentally fucking deranged. That's where our problem is in America. We need to be spending millions and millions and billions on mental health and protecting what we protect our courthouses. Son of a bitch, have you tried to go into a courthouse recently? There's going to be 5-6 armed guards, law enforcement officers, metal detectors, just to go into the fucking courtroom. Everybody's got to go through it, even if you're a judge or a lawyer. Why aren't we doing that in our schools? Why aren't we protecting that border? Why aren't we securing it? You know how many angel families are out there? If you don't know what angel families are, please look it up. Those are people that lost a loved one to an illegal alien. Why don't you ask them how they feel about the border, Joe Biden, Democrats and liberals? Ask them. There's more angel families that lost their loved ones, more people killed by people coming across the border illegally than there are mass shootings. And Democrats and liberals don't give a shit about it. They don't. If they did, they would secure the damn border. And they would stop the drugs coming across, the human sex trafficking coming across, the gang members coming across, all the other illegal activity. And then, if it's a legitimate family and you can prove it, it's a mother and her children trying to escape from the horrors of Central or South America or Mexico, welcome them with open arms. I'm all for that. So is every conservative and Republican I know. The rest of them? No. But yet, there's one party, it's the Democrat Party, that doesn't care. Instead, they want to look into the camera like I'm doing right now and lie to you. They're fucking liars. That's what they are. The Democrat members up in Congress are a bunch of lying, no good son of a bitches. And it pisses me off as a veteran law enforcement officer and a 4-time combat veteran in the Army to see what's happening to this country under Democrat rule right now. It's fucking wrong. It's bad. It's not good for us. And these people have no common sense whatsoever. And that needs to change. And thank God midterms are coming up. And I pray that at midterms it does change. If not, America, stick a fork in it because we're done. Anyhow, you had many pleasures to be tonight. Chose to be here with me, and for that I'm forever grateful. Thank you. hope that you will subscribe to my channel, share my videos on your social media platforms, let people know about the show. I try and do it every Tuesday and Thursday night at 8 p.m. Central. I'm a one-person show now. I don't have a bunch of people like I had before. I don't have a producer anymore like I had before. I don't have a co-host anymore like I had before. And I've got several health issues going on that I'm dealing with. A lot of other things that are going on in my life that just sometimes I can't do a show. And sometimes I don't know about it till the last minute. So when that happens, I'll put it in the community section, let you all know, I can't do it, and here's what's going on. But for all those that have reached out with your thoughts and prayers for the health conditions that I'm dealing with and other family members, I sure do appreciate that. Thank you very, very much. But I try and get a show out every Tuesday and Thursday. Anyhow, as always, please say a prayer for our men and women serving in the United States military, our veterans, our law enforcement officers, our first responders, our angel families, our blue and gold star families, and our country. May God bless the United States of America. And I believe we need that blessing now more than ever before. Hope you all have a wonderful and blessed evening. Thank you for joining me tonight. If anything breaks between now and next Tuesday, I'll be sure to put out a video about it. If it's something that I feel is needed for American patriots to definitely pay close attention to. Thank you all. God bless you. And I'll see you soon.